Hey guys, today we're going to do a really quick video tutorial on how to learn a body drum beat and program that beat into Ableton Live 11. So let's get started by learning the body drum pattern. We're using a video here by the group called Music Will, which used to be called Little Kids Rock. So let's watch that video down the bottom.
Hi-hat, snare drum, kick drum. So that's our starting point, and that's what we're going to work with in the first part of this drum course. Let's start with a really simple groove. What I want you to do is go kick, hi-hat, snare, hi-hat, kick, hi-hat, snare, hi-hat. Try that out with me. Okay, now we're going to bring in the band, and we're going to play that same groove. Here we go.
Alright, so hopefully you got the hang of that there, guys. Kick, hat, snare, hat. That's on each of the beats of the bar. There's 4 beats per bar. We call them quarter notes or crotchets. So basically you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's open up Ableton and create a new live set. So we're currently in this view here and the session view. You can switch over to the arrangement view, but we're going to stay in this view here. We don't need any audio tracks, so I'm actually going to delete each of those audio tracks. I might even just get rid of all of those and leave one MIDI track by hitting delete. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the impulse instrument. So on the left, we've got various categories. I jump to instruments, choose impulse, and click on that little triangle. And let's drag that backbeat room instrument onto track 1. So now we have a little drum rack ready to play or paint in some instruments. What I'm actually going to do is double click in this first slot, and that actually brings up the view here. I can see 1 bar worth of music. You can see how it says like 1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Currently, each beat is divided into 4. So this is actually divided into 16th notes. 1 bar of music is not just going 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going 1 E under, 2 E under, 3 E under, 4 E under. Now, eventually we'll do some disco and hip hop beats that need 16th notes. But for now, let's just right click in our area here. And I'm going to choose quarter notes for my grid. And do you notice how when it's 16th, we've got those extra little subdivisions. See how those subdivisions there exist? But if I am to actually click 1 quarter note, then those subdivisions go away. This will make it really easy for me to put kick, come up to hat, I think I'm in the right spot there, and snare, and hat. I've got kick, hat, snare, hat. Then if I click on this play button, so I'm actually going to label that drum beat. If we see the first video in the Little Kids Rock playlist, they call this one the basic beat. So I'm actually going to right click in this slot and rename it to basic beat. Okay, so that's the first beat that I've programmed in. Okay, each of those notes represents a quarter note, or if we count the time, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I could change my tempo down. I could change it to 100 beats per minute, and now it will sound a little slower. So let's leave it there. See how I clicked on the tempo at the top, and I typed in 100 and hit enter. So that's a basic beat. What I'm going to do here in the next slot is show you the that wasn't even the basic beat. That was just an example beat. Let's call it halftime. it's half as quick as your basic beat. I'm going to call the next one basic beat. I've double clicked here and I'm going to name it basic beat. Thank you. Got a delivery of ice cream from my lovely wife. Thanks, darling. And I've called that the basic beat. Alright, so if I jump to the video, the basic beat in Little Kids Rock, you'll see down the bottom left here, the video has changed over.
Great job.
Alright, so if I skip through that video a little bit, I would recommend that you follow the link and do the actual video, but for now, I just want you to take note up the top there. You've got hi-hats on all 4 beats. So I know it's pretty small down the bottom there, but let me just quickly bring that in. So we've got, once again, we are just doing quarter notes. So my grid is back to 16ths. I'm going to right click, change it to quarter note grid. See down the bottom here it says quarter note, 1/4. I needed hi-hats on every single beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I seem to have entered the mode here where that pen is engaged. That's draw mode. When you're in draw mode, you can single click to draw something. The B key engages draw mode as well on the keyboard. If you're not in draw mode, you've got to double click to create a note. But just hit B, you'll be in draw mode. Now I have kick drums on beats 1 and 3, snare drums on beats 2 and 4, and the hi-hat happens on every beat. Now I recommend you learn that beat on your body by following the body drum step-by-step process to learn how to do that, because if you actually can do the beats, it really helps you understand the beats. Anyway, let's play that pattern. I'm going to click on the basic beat. Sounds pretty good. Alright, so that is a basic beat using quarter notes. Next, we're going to do what's called the back beat. So I'll double click on that empty slot. I'm going to call it back beat. Now let's switch over to the backbeat video. Now there are actually a couple of steps in between that Little Kids Rock website takes you through, because when you try and do the backbeat, you'll find your limb independence is really hard. You'll find it's hard to do the hi-hat, kick and snare independently. But if I just jump forward in this video, then hopefully you can just make out we actually need eighth notes or quavers. So we're actually going to change our grid for the backbeat into eighth notes. We have hi-hats on every single eighth note, and the way we count eighth notes is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if I actually hit that playing there, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, rather than just with the basic beat, playing the wrong pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we are subdividing now into eighth notes rather than just in quarter notes or crotchets. Okay, 1 and 2 and. All the ands are what we call the offbeats. We do actually just need the kick again on beat 1 and 3, and the snares once again just on 2 and 4. The only difference between your basic beat is that subdivided hi-hat. Okay, so the kick and the snare are still just on 1 and 3 for kick, 2 and 4 for snare, and the hi-hats are just subdividing. Instead of being just 1, 2, 3, 4, we speed up and do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now we know how to program in the backbeat. I'm going to duplicate that by right-clicking and saying duplicate, or else if I actually just hold Control and drag my backbeat down, you can see that copy icon. So what I'm going to do is go into my second backbeat pattern there, and I'm actually going to experiment by adding in some extra kicks or extra snares. What if I had a double kick there and I hit play on that pattern? Sounds pretty cool. What you could do is add double snares. Put 2 snares on beat 4 there. Or I could put the double snare over there and get rid of that one. What if I make the extra snare here a bit quieter? I'll get out of draw mode with the B key, and I'm going to lower that velocity there. So you can actually adjust the velocity or the volume of individual notes. So that there is a pattern where we've got 8th notes. Let's just try and program in a bit of a disco pattern. So there are some other cool videos I'd like to show you in the future where they show you how to play this disco pattern. But for now, I'm going to actually stick with the 16th note subdivisions. I'm going to get into draw mode. And I'm going to paint all those semiquaver hi-hats in. I could just paint half of them, highlight all of those ones, copy them, and then paste them. And that's twice as quick. So I've got my hi-hats going 1 E under, 2 E under, 3 E under, 4 E under. If I actually play the correct pattern. Here's where it could be cool to have some differing velocities. You see me just changing those velocities. Let's have a listen. Now, what if I actually just copy these 4 with those different velocities, delete the others here, and can I even control drag them? Yes, I can. And I accidentally displaced that, but this could be cool because my accents might move around a bit. See, that was unintentional, but I'm going to roll with that. I accidentally put my accented, you know what I did. You saw what I did. Anyway, moving forward, I'm going to throw in one more hi-hat here. I'm actually going to throw my snare on beats 2 and 4, and I'll put a kick on 1 and 3. I can see where that is. It's 1.3. If you put the note in the wrong spot, you can just drag it around or you can delete it. Now let's have a listen to that pattern. And I'm going to rename that and call it disco. Now sometimes in disco beats, if you're actually playing it, you wouldn't have a hat the same time you hit the snare, because basically the way you play it is using both hands. So if I actually want to deactivate the note, it's the 0 key on the keyboard. So I could actually just deactivate and have a listen. And I like that. Okay, so I've actually ended up accidentally with a pretty cool pattern. What I'll do is duplicate just to show you if I hadn't messed up those hi-hats, this is how it would have sounded if I just fix them up. Place that there. All right, this is how it would have sounded. And now switch to my accented one. So I actually like the mistake better than the standard one. So there we have a few different beats for you. You could get a little fancy now. I'm going to copy that disco one down. In fact, yeah, is that my good one? No, I'm going to delete that one and copy my interesting one. I'll call that one Disco Plus. And then I've got one here that I'm going to experiment with, and I'll call that Disco Double Plus just for fun. What I'm going to do is throw in a few extra kicks, and I'm going to put them on some interesting places like the 4th subdivision of this one. Let's play the right one. That's got a good sort of feel to it, doesn't it? So what I could do is actually stretch this one out to be a 4-bar long pattern. If I can stretch it all out to where it says 5.1, or beat, that's 4 bars worth of music, I could hold control and just use the mouse wheel to zoom out a bit. I'm going to copy that whole pattern across and paste it so I get 4 bars the same. But then in the final bar, I might get a bit fancy and throw in a few extra kicks. So I'll just throw in a few extra kicks. I'm being a little random in what I'm doing here. Let's have a listen. And I don't like that. It didn't have a good feel to it. Let's try this sort of feel. And what if I threw in a tom? Have I got some toms here? Give that a go. Have a listen. Not bad, hey? So that was just a bit of experimenting. And now I've got like a 4-bar long groove with a fill in the 4th bar. So I'm quite happy with that. So going back over what we did, we started with the halftime into the basic beat, into the backbeat, the backbeat with some extra hits, then let's do this disco one, disco plus, with some interesting accents on the hi-hat, and then I'll do my 4-bar long one. Here it goes. Okay, and that one has a bit more of a maybe a hip hop or a rock flavor than just disco once you start putting all those extra kicks in there. All right, so what I would make sure I don't forget to do is to save my live set, and I'll just call that experiment 1 drums. And I'd encourage you to try out some of these body drum lessons there and actually learn how to do the patterns on your body and get an understanding of how to actually play the drums and program the drums here in Ableton Live. All the best.